Does this look scary? Don't worry. In this video, I'll show you how to take apart your W6 baitcaster and put it back together. And if I can do it, I promise that you can do it too. So maintaining your baitcaster is something a lot of people overlook, and you can get away with quite a lot of abuse nowadays with baitcasters. You can go a long way without maintaining them, but if you do some simple maintenance during the year, you can prolong the life of your baitcaster significantly. And in this video, I am no expert, but I'm going to show you that if I can do it, I am sure that you can do it. I'm going to use my Westin baitcaster. This is the 300 size, the W6 series. This is one of my main pike reels. I've been using it a lot this year, so it's going to be interesting opening it and see how extremely dirty it is or how well it has maintained. So this is the 300 reel. I have the schematics of it right here that you get in the package, so I know exactly where every piece goes back. It can be very handy. I just have some small screwdrivers, a 10mm wrench, some tweezers. I have a little brush here to apply the marine grease. I have an old toothbrush just to scrape dirt off. I got some very thin oil to oil up the bearings. I got some Q-tips to use and just clean out any gunk. I got some soapy water if I need to clean some parts. And I also have brake cleaner. This is really good. I use it for the boat sometimes, stuff when I need to get off lubricant and stuff, old dirt and shit. It really cleans up stuff really nice. So I'll use that on metal parts if I need to clean up any excess grease and stuff and gunk from usage this year. I have some white sheets of paper where I will place all of the parts so I remember in what order they go back. And then of course I have a whole lot of tissues. So the first thing that I will do is basically take off the side plate of the reel and take out the spool. Here you can use tape or something to fixate the line, but I'm not gonna do anything like that right now. Just take a look at it here to see if there's any dirt and stuff. There's a little bit. I'll just basically clean it off. And here inside the side plate, this is where the centrifugal brake is working. I can see that there's a lot of dirt and old grease. I'll just basically take a Q-tip, run it around. As you can see here, I have all that old grease and oil, just dirt. Let's get all of that up. And here we also have a bearing that holds the spool. So and it has this little clip to hold it in place. Basically, we just need something to push the clip, but you need to be careful. Some people call these clips "oh crap" clip, because if you do it wrong or if you don't hold your finger on it, they go flying away and you're like, "oh crap." So that's why they call them that. Just carefully take out the bearing here. Take a look at it. Looks quite okay actually. Let's put it up here, save it for later. So I cleaned out a little bit here from the centrifugal brake. I'll just kind of just see so there's no, it's not dirty at all in there. It's not super dirty. I think I'll save the cleaning for later after I disassemble everything. Let's put this back for now. So now we're going to open the side of the reel here, which the handle rests on. So now I'm going to need a screwdriver here. So this is, I think we'll start working our way on this side. So this is just a little cap to protect the bolt. And here it's a 10mm, or usually a 10mm bolt, so you can just basically loosen it. Just twist it off. A little bit of dirt. So now I'll just place everything from like the outside and in. So when I assemble it, I just go from this direction. Here's a little screw that keeps everything in place. Get that, and a little bushing there also. So there's like the first time I opened the reel, I was like, oh, just put it back. I don't want to touch that, but it is not actually that difficult. Like, you have the schematics, everything has their own place, so just take your time with it and then just go slowly. The main thing, or the like where it can really shit hits the fan, is if some spring or something sprints away and it's gone forever. That's like the worst part that can happen. So just go slowly. If you see something that there's tension in, be careful, put a finger on it before you start moving it so it doesn't jump away, and you'll be good. And I'm no expert, but I think we'll manage. Here we have another plate. You can see this one is quite dirty, so this is good because we're gonna give it a little clean. Here's the star drag. It's a little spring. Here you have the tension for the brake. Yeah, this is quite dirty. So you can see here, I just like super dirty. So this is good. This is what we want to clean. And that's basically all of the parts from the handle. And this is also important. You have these tension plates right here. It's 2 plates, and they are not symmetrical. If you can see, it's a little U shape. You see that, Eric? And the other one is shaped the same way, and they have to lie towards each other, so they create a resistance. So they're going to be placed like this. So you put tension on them, and they put tension back. If you put them like this, you're not going to get any tension. They need to be placed basically like this, if you catch my drift. You'll see when you open it, but it's a small important factor right there. Now we start opening the side plate here. It's 4 screws, and here it's 2 different screws. So we have 2 screws on the outside that are smaller, and we have 2 screws on the inside, which is longer. That's just something to keep in mind when we assemble it again. Now we take off the whole side plate. Take a look. So here is all the moving parts, and this is what like freaked me out the first time I opened one. It was like, oh, never want to do this again. But as you can see, I just took it off simply. Not so much dirt and gunk in here. Just basically take a Q-tip. I just want to check and see. This is the one-way bearing that holds the handle. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty. And this is important to not... I'll talk more about that later. I was just curious to see how it looks now. Now we have some stuff here. This is the pinion gear that takes the force from the main gear, which the handle turns, and goes into the pinion gear, and that is what ultimately turns the spool. So it's situated on this little sleeve with 2 springs. So this, we're going to clean away all the excess grease on. Okay, so now I'm going to start removing the main gears, and I can see that there's quite some dirt on it. So this is something we need to clean. First of all, we need to take off, this is the whole braking system right here. First plate, this is where it gets interesting here also. We'll start up here. And here we have the carbon drag. And that was a spring from the drag clicker. So here we have the carbon drag. And this plate. So here we have a whole bunch of different plates and stuff. And we're just going to clean and give them some lubricant later. And here's one of those things that can go flying to another dimension. This is the clicker from the drag. It's placed in here. So it has 2 parts. This little nozzle and the spring. And it's loaded inside the main handle shaft. And that's something that can go flying. I can tell you, you don't see it go flying, you just hear it bounce in the other end of the room. And that's one of those situations that you're like, okay, now I don't have a drag clicker anymore. It's not even worth looking for. I'm just gonna get all these parts out here. This blade also. And a little bushing also. Yeah, there's a lot of dirt collected there. As you can see, there's a lot of parts going on here, but if you just take it slowly, it's not really that crazy. Here we have the main gear. There's a lot of grease here, but you can see all this residue and stuff, so this is going to get cleaned off. Yeah, keep going there. We have another here. Then we have the, see, there's so many small parts here. And this was terrifying for me the first time I opened this up. But when you just do it slowly and methodically, it's not a big deal. Okay, so we'll just keep working our way in. And here there's a lot of like residue, excess grease. So we're gonna clean a little bit of that off. But in general, it's very clean in here. Like if you want to do a real cleaning, like mayhem here, you can just take apart every little piece here and all of these springs, and you can just go mayhem here and clean everything. But it's actually very clean. I'll take a Q-tip later and just kind of remove a little bit of the moving parts. I can see a little bit of like gunk around it. So now we just take away the last pieces here, and this is small plastic gear that drives the worm screw up here for your line guide. And here's another one of these little clips. I don't know what they're called, E-clip or C-clip or whatever, but you need to be careful when you open them because these can go flying. It's basically use a little screwdriver and try to push them open. This was a small one, so. Eric, put some fun music or something and show them something cool. Maybe when I catch a fish or something, and I'll be back in a second. I actually didn't cut my nails because I knew I was going to do this today. So I wanted long nails so I can like get stuff off of the... the pieces are so small. Straight in there. Open this whole thing. Can also, now we can open the side plate again. Here we can actually remove some another bushing. So this is what keeps the worm screw in place. Infinity screw or worm screw. Not exactly sure what to call it right now. And then there's two bearings here, so I want to clean those out and give them some oil. But to open everything up, I have this little plastic cap here. And this is where a lot of stuff gets trapped on the worm screw here because it's exposed to the elements and it has grease on it. Some people like to oil it, some people like to grease it. Most of them are greased from the factory. And grease collects more excess debris, but I don't know, grease, it feels like one of those situations where grease actually works better. It will last longer, and I will grease it up. Get that there. And here we have a little plate, super small, that actually, this whole cap holds the little screw here that controls the whole line guide. Super small. We're gonna clean that out also. And now we should basically be able to, yeah, here you have one bearing from that side. Then we have bearing from the other side. These are gonna get some oil. And then we have screw. Then we have the sleeve here also. If we can get that out. Then we have the sleeve. So now we have taken out almost everything from the reel. So now we just have some cleaning to do. So now when I've basically taken apart all of the stuff that I want to maintain here and re-lubricate, I'm not going to go crazy into this because it's quite clean. So I'll just go over this. So I have some warm water with some soap here. So that's basically for these plastic parts, for like the small gears here that drive the line guide. So basically, very simply, just basically get all the grease off of it. Just try to clean them a little bit, make them looking nice. This is where the toothbrush comes in handy also, and a lot of paper to dry them. And we'll just basically clean it carefully. Just get all that gunk off of it. And then we're just gonna let them sit here overnight to just kind of dry. And tomorrow we'll lubricate. So basically I'm gonna work my way through all of the parts here. Everything that is dirty and has a lot of grease on it, I'm just basically gonna use the brake cleaner or just some warm water. Now you can see it's shiny, it's not a single piece of dirt left. So I'm just gonna walk my way through all of these, just clean them, and then we're gonna start putting the reel back together, putting some grease where it's supposed to be, and putting some oil where that's supposed to be. So basically just skip all of this. You're gonna see this is just ready in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we have traveled in time a bit here. I have cleaned all of the components, and now basically just have to try to assemble this. And I put emphasis on try because, yeah. We'll see if this is gonna work. But I've cleaned everything with everything in plastic I've cleaned in soapy water, and everything in metal I have cleaned in brake cleaning fluid, basically. Worked really well. So now we're gonna start putting the stuff back. And a good rule of thumb is oil goes into the bearings and grease goes into the gears. So that's just a rule of thumb. So we're gonna put some grease on what's needed and also lubricate the bearings before everything goes back. Just start to assemble here. I'm gonna start with the line guide, or at least try. The worm screw. And this was really dirty, so good that we cleaned it out. Here we also need a bearing. Probably lubricate it after I put it in place. So now when I put the worm screw back, you have to put it in the right kind of angle before you place these things on. So now I need to just take the clip off and just do it again. So the problem here was I couldn't get the sleeve to the worm screw to actually be facing where it needs to be facing, and it turned out I just had put it in the wrong direction. So there's two little nooks here that needs to go on the right side. So I just disassembled it and I turned the sleeve around, and worked super easy. We're good so far. So now I need to assemble the little thing here that actually drives the line guide. So basically just put that in to this little crevice. There we go. Actually gonna give that a drop of oil before I put the little bushing on here. Whoop. There's a lot of oil coming out of that thing. So some of the excess oil off. Oil and grease, basically any fishing shop sells specific products for that. so it's quite easy to get your hands on. There's a lot of different brands selling them, so check with your local fishing shop and for sure they will have products for it. Let's put back this cap. This is plastic, you don't need to tighten it super hard. Now let's see. Works. Now we need to start putting everything back into the main housing here. So now when it comes to assembling, I tried to be thorough with this when I washed everything, to like put them back in the same fashion as I placed them the first time, but I'm not super sure here. So, but that looked very flush and nice when I put it back. And here I'll actually put a little bit of grease on these, on the gears here. Don't have to grease it a lot because it's actually plastic, these gears that drive the infinity screw or worm screw. I'll just give it a little bit of brush and that will spread out. Yeah, so that's moving freely and nicely. Okay, so now we have this piece goes back on here. And this is a safety thing here. If the reverse bearing stops working, then this will kick in and stop the reel from going the wrong direction. I think actually I'm just gonna give that a little bit of grease also. Okay, so that's that part. Now we have some bushings and stuff here that we need to manage. This is part of the whole braking system. These small carbon fiber and stuff like that. I'm just basically gonna take super little lubricant and just put a little bit, almost nothing on them. Just tiny bit. And we have the main gear goes on here. Yeah, of course that presses with the brake because this can actually spin freely on the handle shaft, and the braking system of course locks it down. But I think I'm gonna place the whole pinion gear now. Have this whole sleeve here that I cleaned out so it's nice, and put the pinion gear. Like so. That will drive the spool. And here we have two springs, and I'm actually just gonna give them a bit of grease, just basically to keep them in place so they don't fall out. One there. I mean, it's winter now, but heading towards spring. And this I'm gonna put some grease before we close the whole thing, but I'll be a little bit, don't need to go heavy on the grease right now. So I'm just gonna start getting all of the pieces here for the braking system. It's going into the reel, and the basic thing here is if you don't lubricate any of the carbon drag pieces here, and you're gonna get a brake that is extremely, you can lock it down, like basically completely lock it, but you're not gonna have a brake that is smooth. So don't put a lot of grease on the parts, but just a little bit of grease, and you'll get a smooth drag. But if you want the ability to completely lock your drag, then just don't put any grease, basically. So I'll just put extremely little bit of grease on some of the parts, but I want to be able to lock it quite hard, so I don't want so much grease on it. Now we have this drag clicker, or what gives the clicking sound when the line goes out. So it's a spring-loaded little nozzle basically. And to get this in, I'm actually just going to put a little bit of grease on the spring just to keep it in place. But here you need to do a little bit of magic to actually get it in. So basically put it into this hole here. And this is something that can go flying a long, long way. Trust me, I have experienced it. But here basically, to get this next piece on, you need the spring to be completely decompressed inside the shaft of the handle here. So basically you'll push everything down, and then you lift the whole gear up to lock it in place. And this is where it can go really wrong, because this spring can go flying everywhere. Just basically push it in and lift the gear up like so. I don't know, Eric, if you can maybe get a shot of that. You can see the spring-loaded nozzle is in there now, and I lift the gear up, pushed it in, lift the gear up so it locks it, and that way I can actually get this next piece, because this little, you can see the nooks there. That's what's going to give that clicking sound. So now I can place this on there, and now I can just push it down, and it's in place. It's very difficult in any other way to try to get it in place there, but that's a good tip right there. And here we have the carbon drag. So I'm just going to put the tiniest amount of grease on it, just really, really tiny amount. Let's go right there. And then we have the final piece of the whole braking system here, which is the cap that goes on it. Boom. So that is basically everything that's inside there. So now I'm just going to put some grease on the gears, and then we're going to put the side plate on. If we put grease on like 4 areas here, and it's gonna spread out quite nicely, but I'm just gonna go a little bit inside. I'm gonna get the grease going there. You don't want to overdo it with the grease either. So now we're basically gonna put the whole side plate on, but first I cleaned out the anti-reverse bearing. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of lubrication, and it's important to not lubricate it too much. So I'm just basically going to put a little bit of oil on a Q-tip and just basically give it some lubrication, but like not too much. Just give it a little bit. And then we have this clutch here. Put that on. So the last part before we put on the side plate, I'm actually just gonna take a bit of oil here and go down here. This is the friction knob. Just get some oil against the knob here, which the spool axle is pressing against. And then I'm gonna give, there's a little ball bearing there. I'm just gonna give it a drop of oil on the bearing. Now, final assembly of the side plate. Like so. Now we have the 4 screws. We have the 2 short ones go on the outer side of the side plate, and the 2 long ones go on the inside. There we go. Put on all the pieces here, so we have the drag clicker right there. Now we have these 2 plates that I was talking about that need to go opposite so they create this tension. So I'll try and show you here how it looks. Can you see that? There's a gap between them. And that creates constant tension. Go on like that. Now we're just backtracking everything, just basically simple assembly. Now we have this last little pieces here. Now we need the wrench to just tighten it down. And here you just need to line up the cap here with the small hole. As you can see, now I need to turn the, need to tighten it a little bit more. Yeah, that's perfect. That. Yeah, and I need to also grease up the worm screw here. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of grease here. Put a little bit of grease here. Just basically gonna let that spread out. So that's basically assembled. Now we just need to put in the spool here. So I cleaned out this hole where the centrifugal brakes push out against the side here. So I cleaned all that yesterday. And I also cleaned the actual small shoes here that push out. I cleaned them. Important to check that they're not damaged or anything. They should be completely flowing freely, no resistance at all. And now I'm just gonna take a Q-tip and some oil, just a tiny bit of oil here. I'm just basically gonna soak the Q-tip. I'm gonna put a little layer of oil on the inside here. Just like that. I'm just the other side, so there's no excess oil. Then you have the end here where the spool axle is pushing towards this side. Just gonna make sure. Actually, I'm just gonna use Q-tip here, and so I cleaned it out yesterday. Give that one small drop of oil. Get some lubricant down there. And now I'm gonna give this bearing a drop of oil. And then we're just gonna put it back in place. And here we also have this little clip that goes on just to lock it down. Just put it in there. Now we need to be careful with this clip, because this is one of those clips that can go flying everywhere in the room. Just push it down carefully, just in place, and then use a flat side screwdriver. Just put one finger just to lock it so it doesn't spring out, and then kind of push it down in place here. Now we're just gonna do the final bit of assembly here. I'm just gonna put a drop of oil on the worm gear shaft here. Not too much. I have to put a little drop of oil to this bearing also before it goes in. And here I want to put some grease. I'm actually just gonna grease the pinion. side of it. Basically where it holds on to the spool shaft. Let's drop this in. We have the line here, just make sure it goes in. That's why it could be good to just tape it down, but we'll manage. There we go. And then always check before you lock the side plate that the centrifugal brakes are activated, yeah, but they have to be inwards, because if they're in the outer position, it's easy that you damage them when you close the side plate. You don't want that. So you just need to close the side plate now. Boom. You did not think that I would be able to put this together.
Never.
So, it's running really smoothly. See here, the tension knob. That is butter smooth. Okay, so as a final little touch here, I'm just putting a little bit of grease just at the thumb bar. Just press it down, just put a little bit of grease on the upside here. That way it will move a little bit more freely. Yeah, feels almost as new. So, it's working, everything seems fine. So, I mean, if I can do this, then anyone can do it, I promise you. You just have to take it slow, methodically, keep the schematics close to hand, and if you're in any way uncertain, you can just look at the schematics, just backtrack yourself, just use a couple of white sheets of paper, just take it easy, be thorough, and you'll be fine. And you'll have your Westin W6 baitcaster or W4 baitcaster working a long, long time. Just do this once a year. It's gonna be fine. Thanks for watching, hope this helped. And as I said, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Even Eric did not think that I would be able to put this together, but it wasn't that hard. It's just a bit scary, but you should try it with your own baitcaster. It will prolong the life, I promise you. So, hope you liked this video. See you on the water.